Hello, everyone. All right. I hope y'all are ready for the science portion of your prep breakouts today. I'm Sonya Scott, and I hope y'all are doing well. How's the school year going? Talk to me.
It's going pretty fast and pretty good.
Okay, pretty fast and pretty good. I know when them
Yeah,
birds start hitting, it's over, isn't it?
that's right.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. Very busy. I know that's right. It's coming along. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. It's well, oh, thank you. Okay. Well, good. Well, Kim, I'm hoping to keep it up. At 7 o'clock. I'm trying to wind down at 7 o'clock. I said, I don't know, y'all been doing this every week. I said, okay. All right, it's going, it's going. Good evening. All right, well, we are going to get started. I'm just going to say it's been a minute. It's been a little while since I had to do Zoom. So I'm hoping I hope I do okay. I'm sure I'll be all right. So let me just share my screen, start getting up my little PowerPoint here, my presentation. All right, so just want to say that I am Sonya Scott, and I am the Alabama State Department of Education's Physical Science Specialist with the AMSTI department. And AMSTI is the Alabama Science and Math and Technology Initiative. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about science today, and just have anytime you want to jump in and you have anything that you want to ask, anything that you want to share, then please jump in and share that. Again, this should be an interactive section. We want everyone to participate, because this is for you. This is all for you. So just let me know whatever you need. Again, I'm just here for you. All right, so these are your prep reminders. So I'm sure you've been reminded of these every single time, but if you just want to read those, I'll give you a second to do that. All right, and moving right along. Okay, so you all have done it. You all have been meeting every Wednesday since September 6th. And here we are down here to November 15th. And so this is the content specific and ed tech breakout sessions. And so you will not meet next week because of Thanksgiving. And then you'll be having the last one on November 29th. So I hope you all have been getting good information and being able to put that information to use. So yeah. So again, you're almost there. You're almost there. Okay, so tonight is Show Us Your Favorite Book night. So show us your favorite book. So I'm getting ready to stop sharing again. All right, anybody have their books out and ready to share with people? Someone said no. Okay, I see Wilhelmina. All right, Wilhelmina, where the crawdads sing. All right, do you want to tell us a little bit about it, or you just want to show? Janice, I see you have somebody with you tonight.
It was an awesome book. I read it in our book club,
Okay.
and it's about a child that raised herself like from the age of 6, it says, on up. She raised herself. She was there in the woods alone and
Okay.
in a home, but her parents weren't there, and her sisters and brothers weren't there.
Oh.
And it's just showing how she survived out there in the woods
Okay.
off of different things that she would fish. And then there was a black lady that owned a little corner store that helped her. And also, this was turned into a
Movie.
movie, yeah, recently.
Okay, yeah, and Kim says she saw the movie, so really nice.
Yeah. So it was just an awesome book. We really enjoyed it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, well,
But
great.
that's mainly what it was about. And she did kill someone. Yeah. When she was a teenager.
Okay,
It,
well, Amina, you telling all the story now. So we might want to read the book.
okay.
Okay.
Hey, I would highly recommend
Okay.
this book, Where the Crawdads Sing.
Where the
Oh, yeah.
crawdads sing.
We enjoyed it.
Good, good, good. All right, Janice, I saw you had a book up. What did you put up?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, it's Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It's based on, oh, you know the book, baby.
Mhm.
I've probably read it 3 or 4 times easily.
Yeah.
And it's based on the book of Hosea, the Bible. And it just tells a wonderful story of this girl that got caught up in prostitution and how this man came and just kind of got her out of that, all of that. And it just kind of reflects, God's love for us too, so it's always just been one of my favorites.
Mine too, Janice, mine too.
Mhm.
And then you'll see, because I have something that's related to that when I show my favorites as well. All right,
Mhm.
anyone else? Okay, all right. God, okay, God who sees. All right, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little about it?
It's the book about life stories of a woman that's a member of our church, and she was born in Orlando, and her husband died a couple of years ago, and everything that she was going through, she was journaling, and I fell in love with the book because I'm a journaler. How do you say it? I'm a journaler.
Journalist.
I journal,
Yes.
and everything that she journaled, she just put it in after he died, she just put it in a book, and it kind of like tells her story of what was going on with her during his illness and all that. And it's a really good read, and I can relate to it a whole lot. I mean, my husband is still living, but still some things as a woman that she's talking about, it really relates. It's kind of like, did I tell you this? But it hits home. So it's really sweet. It's a really sweet book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing. Yes. Thank you. All right. And yeah, Kim, that is I guess Redeeming Love is kind of like Pretty Woman. Yeah. This is not it's about science, and so it's not too heavy on secondary. So it's just really, we're going to talk about our 3 dimensions, so very generic science information. So you can decide if you would like to stay or not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Anyone else?
Say that again.
I'm sorry. I think I had a question in here. They just asked, is this group for elementary science teachers? And I was going to say it was slated for secondary science, but we are just talking about general science information. So, you can stay, or you don't have to stay.
Okay, because I'm elementary science. I'm 5th grade science. So I mean, I can stay.
Again, it's just going to be very, it's going to be just about science.
Okay.
It's totally up to you.
Thank you. I'll stay.
Okay. All right. All right, Jacqueline, you had a book to share?
Yes, it's called The Book of Virtues for Young People.
Okay.
And it's almost like an Aesop fable type book, but it gives little short stories, little short situations. But all of the stories end with a moral. And I use this book raising my kids. And I use this book with my students. I may take a few minutes and give them a moral short story.
Oh, good. Yep, as I said, that reading, that time of teachers reading to you, just something short and sweet. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Anyone else? Okay, well, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. Yep, just want to say that just like the person who shared about Francine Rivers is one of my favorite. And so one of my favorite series is this Mark of the Lion series. So I like it because it challenges my faith. Just the main characters just do exciting things and just have a lot of faith and trust in the Lord. And so this challenges my faith. So I love this series. So if you haven't read this, the one who read Francine Rivers, the other one, then get this series. You'll like it. And then one of my favorite science ones is this Napoleon Buttons. It's how 17 molecules change history. And so it is just a quirky little book that weaves history in and talk about organic molecules, like just how the spices changed. And they'll talk about how, the benzene and all those things, aromatherapy, how that changed history. And so it's just an interesting book that weaves chemistry and history together. So again, if you're looking for something to read that's a little different and interesting, try Napoleon's Buttons. All right, so here are our norms for today. Again, I'm sure you all know what to do, but we just want you to participate fully and have fun. So again, ask questions. Don't be silent on here. I know y'all have other things going on because it's after 7 o'clock. You might have children, you might be tired because you've been working all day. But again, to get the most out of it, we want to have you all interacting with us. So please make sure that you are doing that. Okay. And so our goals for today, we are going to discuss the 3 dimensions of science learning. We are going to review responsibilities regarding safety in the science classroom, because science is a little different than other classrooms when we talk about safety. We're going to examine how to engage students with scientific phenomenon. And then we are going to talk about my organization, how AMSTI and ASIM can assist you on your journey. All right, so question number 1, what are the most memorable things about your high school or middle school or even elementary school science classes? What do you remember the most? What's the most memorable thing? So unmute yourself or put it in the mic. What do you remember about science in school, grade school?
When I was in school, I really didn't like science.
Okay.
Well, and for the last 3 years, I've been teaching art. I just moved over to science about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that I can because I needed to be in a classroom setting for my certification.
Okay.
So but my most memorable time in science is when when I looked in the microscope and I saw the germs and I saw this little stuff moving around. I was like, the things that we think that are so clean, like I tell my class now, things that you think, that little scrunchie that you wear every day. I've been seeing you wear the little nasty scrunchie every day. Take it off and let's put it on under the microscope. And she threw it away. I say it is nasty. So, when that was just one of my most memorable. So
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yes. And yeah, that's, I said, looking in that microscope and seeing all those things that we cannot see, seeing microscopic things hidden from the naked eye. Now we can see things that can go even deeper. And I see all these things in the lab and in the chat. Yep, labs, dissecting a pig. Yep, I remember dissecting that fetal pig. SecMe, excellent. Love SecMe as well. Lab days, science fair, science projects, seeing that volcano erupt. The creative way your teachers taught the science, making a cell out of food. Yep, still labs. Okay. Yep, I understand. Got a lot going on, but yes, dissecting things. Okay, dissecting pigs and okay, yeah, ooh, yeah, those different jars. You must have had all those little different creatures in the jar. Love that. And your teacher was engaging. All right, excellent. Yes, those are all great things. And so that's going to relate to what we are talking about with our 3D learning, All right, so what classes do you all teach? Give it to me in the chat.
5th grade.
5th grade. All right, 5th grade, 8th grade physical science. Okay, what else?
4th, 5th, and science.
Say it again.
4th, 5th, and 6th grade science.
Okay, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade science. All right. We got a lot of 8th grade physical science teachers on here. We have 8th grade, we have 4th grade science and social studies, 7th grade life sciences. All right, we have anatomy and physiology, 9th grade biology. Okay, yep, 7th grade life science, 5th grade. Okay. Physical science. All right, well, good. 8th grade, 7th, 8th. Okay, excellent. So now I'm going to ask you. So far this year, what's the most memorable thing have you done for your students so far? What are they going to remember after they leave your class?
We did a life cycle project. We worked on studies weekly. And at the end of the studies weekly, we always have something interesting to talk about. So at the end of my week, we usually try to do one of the experiments that's on there. And they had on the studies weekly, it asked them to label the parts of a life cycle, a water cycle. But instead of me having them to label the parts of a water cycle, I just let them do the water cycle project, and they brought it in, and I was amazed at you know, how nice they looked. I mean, we had so many, and we had so many until I have like 94 students, 94 5th grade students, but out of the 94, I think I graded them with the rubrics, the way we was taught here on this line. And I kept 10, and the science fair is coming up, so I kept 10, and I took it those 10 to the links room and let my links teacher look at them, and she's judging them, and then I'm going to get prizes for the first, second, and third prizes because they're just so nice to just not acknowledge them.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Excellent. Very nice. Excellent. And so they will remember that they did something. And so that's what we're going to talk about. All right. We have the whoosh ball and the flamethrower. Okay. Jacqueline, you know, you are brave. You are very brave, and I know your students enjoyed that. All right. Ms. Truss, I see you all did circuits and played with giant slinkies. Yes, love that. Were you all talking about waves? All right, hands-on projects, created rock layers, love it. Outside exploration, yes, bringing that nature, all those things, that phenomenon we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. Looking at an onion under a microscope, making CO2, snacks and word games with vocabulary. Yeah, vocabulary is so wonderful. All right, we got an AMSTI kit user on here. Yes, Rachel, excellent. All right, electron cloud and ionic bonds. All right, and balancing equations. AMSTI kits, very nice. Another AMSTI kit person. Excellent. Extracted DNA from E. coli. All right, y'all are doing it. Come on. Okay, science ACAT work. Excellent. Okay, and they work, all right, working in teams. Awesome. Yes. Egg drop challenge, extracting DNA. Oh, their own song and rap. They were very creative. Yes. All right, excellent. You all are doing an excellent job. And so that's what we are going to talk about today with three-dimensional learning, All right, so I am going to share with you a resource document. So this is the document that I'm going to keep referring back to. It has my slides on here. And we are going to go to this 3D bookmark. And I'm going to keep going back to the three-dimensional bookmark and my slides so that we can kind of see both of them. Okay. All right, so 3D learning. So again, this is all about science and science practices and how science is a little bit different than the other subjects. So science, we have this three-dimensional learning that came about from what we call our national framework. And so the three dimensions are interwoven together. And so they are made in such a way that we want to encourage students to actively engage with scientific content through hands-on activities. That's what I've been seeing and hearing in the chat from you all, those hands-on activities. Inquiry-based learning, where they are trying to think and make sense of the learning themselves, and then having problem-solving tasks. So this is what we want them to do. We need them to be engaged and not just be in there listening to lecture. And so you see this little icon here. We have the three dimensions that we're going to go over. We have our disciplinary core ideas, our cross-cutting concepts, and our science and engineering practices. All right, so the first one are disciplinary core ideas. This is what we normally think about. This is what the knowledge is, the big ideas that that students need to think about. And so this is what we normally think, again, when we're talking about science, this is the content that they need. And so we have these disciplinary core ideas in the three big dimensions and three big fields. And so we have physical science, earth and space science, and life sciences. And if we go back to the bookmark, the disciplinary core ideas are right here. And let me open that with Adobe so I can make this bigger, because I don't know about y'all, I'm getting a little older. I didn't used to wear glasses. Now I have to wear glasses, and I need my stuff magnified on the computer. So let me go down here. So here are disciplinary core ideas. And so we have physical science, and then you see how this is broken down into 4 sub-core ideas. And we're going to talk about how this relates to our Alabama standards, because from K all the way through 12, we base all of our standards on these 3 dimensions. And so our new standards are getting ready to come out, hopefully if the board approves them in December. But these right here, you will see when we get ready to look at our standards, you will see that they're broken into physical science, and then physical science are broken down into these 4 things. The life sciences are broken down also into 4 main categories. And then we have earth and space, which is only broken down into 3. But again, those are the main things, big ideas that we want them to learn. And you're going to see later on, well, you know, if you read through the content, they are woven again through those K5 bands, the 868 band, and then the 912. They just grow in more in sophistication. They just build upon each other. And then the last domain we should weave in throughout all of them. And that's our engineering, technology, and the application of science, Okay. Next, we have are science and engineering practices. And so this dimension involves engaging students in the practices that scientists and engineers use to investigate and solve problems. And so again, that goes back to where you were saying that, oh yeah, they are not just sitting in the classroom learning about the water cycle. They're actually going to go out and do something with that. They're going to, we want them to actively engage in that. And so we want students to be able to ask questions. That's what science is. How do we know all these things that's in their textbooks? Someone asked a question. They said, ooh, I wonder how this worked, or I wonder why this does this. And so that's what we want our students to do. We want them to be able to ask questions and also to define problems. They want to look around and say, oh, I don't know. I don't like the way that pencil sharpener works. Okay, well then can you come up with a solution to that? You're defining that problem, and then can you come up with a solution? Developing using models. Everything around us is a model. And so we want the students to be able to develop models and also use models. And models are not only these 3D things that we put in, but a graph can be a model. A diagram can be a model. Pictures and photographs can be models. And so that is something that students are actively doing. They're developing their own, and they're also using and interpreting other models. Planning and carrying out investigations. Again, active. That's what the science classroom is. They can plan their own investigations and carry them out. Analyzing, interpreting data. We want them to be able to look at graphs, look at data, be able to interpret that. Again, hands-on, using mathematics and computational thinking. And so, my background is chemistry. And so, the kids don't like saying seeing the math in the chemistry in the science classroom, but of course they're interwoven. Math is the language of science. And so we want students to be comfortable with that and be able to use that. Constructing explanations and designing solutions. Again, things that we want our students to be able to do. I've been teaching for a long time, and if I ask most teachers what they want their students to do more of, we always say we want them to think critically. And so if we allow them to construct their own explanations, and the second one, this one right here, engaging in arguments from evidence, if we can have them do those things, they'll begin to think critically. They'll begin to not just engage in arguments. A lot of people are like, ooh, we don't want them to argue. Well, yes, we do. We don't mind them arguing. We have to teach them how to be respectful when they argue, and not just argue from their opinions. They need to be able to argue from evidence. And so in the science classroom, it is set up perfectly for us to be able to teach them those things. And then to again obtain, evaluate, and communicate information. And so communication skills are so important for our students. And again, the science classroom, and I might be biased, but we can teach everything in science. Elementary schools, it just hurts my heart when they just don't teach that science all the time, because you can get your reading in, you can get your math in, you can even get social studies, Napoleon's Buttons, one of my books, in by teaching science. And so if we're doing science and actively engaging science, in science, students would like school more, just like you all said. You all enjoy the labs and things. Students today enjoy the same thing. And if we do not do that, they're not going to enjoy it as much. We don't, and there's a misconception. Rachel. Oh, you don't, and there's a misconception in elementary. Okay, and can you say what that misconception is? Okay, and physics background.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am elementary, hopefully soon to be secondary. But in elementary, there's this misconception that there's just not enough time for science. It's always you got to drill in reading, and you have to try and sneak in science 30 minutes, but then you always have all these fears when it comes to math and then reading. And then you also have a misconception when it does come to AMSTI as well. You have some teachers and even principals who do feel as if that, well, AMSTI is not standards based. And then when you try and tell them, no, it is. And they also have this idea that all AMSTI kits are just experiments every day, all day. And that's really not what it is. And yes, you are correct. You can get your reading from what's in those kits because they give you a physical textbook, they give you actual materials, workbooks, and then because in elementary, a lot of people don't understand the science world because they were trained to be a teacher and they don't have that outside experience into the world of science, then they're like, oh, well, it's not really important because by trade, I am trained in science.
Right.
So, and not in teaching.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I just remember just, being back when I was in elementary school, what do I remember the most is, reading about the planets, doing the butterfly, the metamorphosis, even studying the rocks and things. Those are things I remember the most. It is always connected to doing an activity, doing experiments is connected to the science. And yes, it does hurt my heart because that is a big misconception, Rachel. And we are just so glad that you are doing AMSTI. And that's what I said. I will just bring you back on at the end of this presentation when we come into AMSTI because you're already doing this. And so I am so glad that you are in there and you're being a champion because yes, and there's a whole lot more to AMSTI than just doing the experiments. It's talking through, it's engaging in all of these practices, which are going to make students excellent, and not only in their science, it's going to build them up in the other subject areas as well. All right. Oh, hello, Dennis. All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel, again. All right. Moving back again over here to the third part of our weave here, we have cross-cutting concepts. And these are overarching concepts that apply across multiple scientific disciplines. And so cross-cutting, that means they go, again, they are big topics that are, or themes, these are mostly themes that are interwoven. And if we go back to our bookmark here, and look at this. Again, elementary school, you are always talking about patterns. Well, there it is. We look at patterns all of the time in science as well. So that's one of our cross-cutting concepts. So no matter if you're in earth and space, if you're in physical science, if you're in life sciences, we are always looking for patterns. That's why it's cross-cutting. Cause and effect, again, something we look at in literary terms, what's the cause and this is the effect. Again, things that can also be woven into your elementary school curriculum, but we are always looking for that. That is something that is always, if you do this, what happens to this? And then scale, proportion, and quantity. Again, no matter what part of the disciplinary core ideas, we are always looking at scale, portion, and quantity, systems and system models, energy and matter, structure and function, and stability and change. These are all things that are woven into all three domains in our disciplinary core ideas. So again, you have that bookmark to remind you of those. And if you need a little bit more information about those on your resource document, we just have some next generation science standards appendices. And in each of these, they explain a little bit more about those dimensions. So if you are interested in those, there is more information on your resource document. Okay, any discussion about that? Okay. So next, we just want to show how this works with our Alabama Science Standards, how it works with our Alabama Science Standards. So again, I know that we have the 2015 standards, they're out. However, hopefully by the beginning of next year, our new standards will be approved in December and we will be rolling with the new standards. However, the new standards are still written in this three-dimensional mode. And so we just had a sample example right here, science standards. And so here are numbers. You know, the thing about education, there are always a numbering system and there's a whole bunch of acronyms. So when you look at the numbering system, you might be like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? But again, it's not very hard. The PS means physical science. The 8 is for 8th grade. And the 15 is for standard number 15. Okay, so physical science, 8th grade, and standard number 15. And so in the blue, we have it correlating to our 3 dimensions here. The blue, analyze and interpret data. So that is our science and engineering practice. So we want them to be able to analyze, interpret data from what? From experiments to determine how various factors affect energy. So energy is a big core idea, and energy transfer is a cross-cutting concept as measured by temperature. And so again, you see how they're woven together in this one standard to engage the students. The students are doing something. You are not just sitting there lecturing. They need to be able to analyze and interpret the data. Okay. And right here, I put on your digital resources. You have your 2015 course of study. So the ALCOS stands for the Alabama Course of Study in Science. And so it's right here. Again, I put in red, we will be adopting new science standards very soon. However, they will still be laid out the same way. So if you look through all of these standards, all the way from kindergarten, all the way up to everyone in the high school, they're all going to have the 3 dimensions. Now, the words might not be verbatim, but you can go back and see how they are connected with each of those 3 dimensions. So if you have not looked at your standards, again, these are the minimum required of what you should be teaching in every grade level in every subject for science. And so I know it's hard when you are beginning. You might try to follow the book from front to back. However, there are some things in the book that you might not need to stress as much as others. And so we always go back to our standards to make sure that we are teaching what the students need to know, because there's a progression. And we need to make sure that we are teaching what we need to teach in our grade level so that they are able to be successful in the next grade levels. Okay, so there are our standards. All right, so time for discussion. How do you think 3-dimensional teaching enhances learning in the science classroom? Back to y'all.
I think it makes it more realistic. When you're just reading a text, it's really hard sometimes for kids to visualize it, especially when it does come to science. So sometimes reading a text, but then having that hands-on is always amazing, because then after, let's say, they do something hands-on, they might just have that question in their head, like, well, what happens if you did this, after they have done an experiment with a specific procedure, and they're like, well, what if we change this? Kind of like cooking in a way. You read it and then you're like, okay, you follow the steps, and then you're like, ooh, well, what if I change this the next time? What will happen if this happens? And it just gives them a different outlook, especially in science, because we're always saying we want hands-on with math, but we never really correlate math and science together.
All right. Yes. Wonderful, Rachel. Yes. We want them to have that hands-on. And like we said before, that asking questions, wanting them to be curious about the things. And yes, what happens if we change this, that cause and that effect? Yes. So love it. Love your answer. All right. We have Kim in here. I think it will help them make connections. The instructions will help them, and the hands-on will make it so much better. Agreed. Elliot says, being hands-on allows students to have a deeper understanding of what is taught and is more likely to going on to leave an impression in their minds for the rest of their lives. Yes, I love that. We want to leave something in their hands that makes the impression for the rest of their lives. It helps creative hands-on helps create hands-on experience and helps them relate to the subject content. Love it. Thank you, Brittany. All right, anyone else?
I was trying to say, when I just got to type it in. Anyway, I was trying to say, I tell them sometimes bring it to life. I mean, okay, how can you fix it? How would you do it? If you did the same experiment, how would you, because they like to tell me what makes the bomb go pop or the bomb burst or whatever. I was like, show me, and so we get dressed or whatever, and I like to go outside with them, and they show me their experiences, and I was like, whatever you do, you got to write it down, let me know what you're doing, because y'all coming up with all this different type of stuff, but it is their hypothesis. I mean, it is what they're thinking. So I like the hands-on too. So
Excellent, excellent. Okay. And so thank you all so much for sharing. And we just want to say, all right, lab safety. So just want to bring to your attention also about lab safety, because again, science class is different than most other classes. And sometimes, I was in a classroom for a little while before someone actually told me about some lab safety things. Thank goodness I was, I'm trained as a chemist, so I knew what to do in the classroom, but I wasn't formally taught. If I hadn't had that background, no one came and told me these things for a few years. And so I just want to make sure that everyone knows what their responsibilities are. So the next thing on your digital resources is we have some safety resources. And we're just going to take a look at this K-12 science safety guidelines. Just so you know that you have responsibilities as well as the students have responsibilities. Uh-oh, I closed the wrong thing. Sorry. I have to hit that again. All right. And so, again, your administrators have responsibilities. So this is a document that just tells you breaking things down, that you have responsibilities, the students have responsibilities, and the parents have responsibilities along with your administrators. And so you need to read over these things, and you need to realize that safety goggles are things that administrators are supposed to be equipping your classrooms or your labs with. So safety goggles are very important. So these are things that administrators are responsible for. And then these are things that you as a teacher are responsible for. And so again, you need to know what you are responsible for when you are taking care of the students in your classroom. And so you want to make sure that you are posting safety rules, that you are going over the safety rules with your students, not only at the beginning of the year, but when you are doing different things. And even if it's just requiring water, you need to go over lab safety rules with them. Anytime you're using glass, they need to know safety rules. When you're going outside and you're just playing with sticks and things, they need to know safety rules. And you need to be thinking about whether or not they need to be using their personal protective equipment. So again, wearing goggles is a very important thing for them to do. And so it's your responsibility to make sure all the equipment is working safely. High school teachers and some middle school, you all use chemicals as well. So you need to make sure that the chemicals are locked up, that they are stored properly, that everyone is obeying the lab safety rules all the time. And so again, this is your responsibility as a teacher. And again, I just want to highlight that because I was not aware for a while. So I just wanted you all to be aware. And then the students are supposed to do things. They are supposed to obey, because that's what it says right here, all the lab safety rules and the things, and sign a safety agreement. And so I'm going to give you the link. Well, it's already on the form for the Flynn safety agreements. And then the parents also are supposed to be reading over, and they should sign that safety agreement as well. Okay. And so if you go back here, right here, there's a link to Flynn. If you do not have any safety agreements, there are for free. Flynn has these safety contracts for you. You can read over it all the way from elementary school to college. They have safety contracts in Spanish and in English. And so it's a very good resource for you to go over with the students. And you should keep a copy of your lab safety contract so that you can tell if anything happens, God forbid, that anything happens, you have that on record that you did go over the safety rules with your students, and you did alert their parents and let them know about the safety. All right. So how do you feel about your responsibilities for lab safety in your science classroom?
I have a question about that.
Okay.
I have all the Flynn safety agreements, but is it required for them to take a test, or is that just something that we kind of do?
It's something that we kind of do, but I would require them to take a test, because I'm letting them know, hey, I'm serious about this. What grade do you teach, Kim?
8th grade.
Okay, yes. They weren't allowed unless they made 100 on the test to go in the chemistry lab. And so, it's not a difficult test, but that was to make sure that they understood that I also was saying that this is safe, this is important for them to learn. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Here's the Dr. Shields and Melissa. Kim is a great teacher. All right.
I had to pop in the science. I'm trying to hit all of them.
Okay,
and, so great. I've actually popped in a couple times. It was saying iPhone for some reason, but loving the content. And I just wanted to say thank you. Love your passion. This is exactly what we wanted.
All right. Well, great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Someone's going to complain. Oh, because you were told, oh goodness. Well, I hope I'm not causing any stirring up any mess, but it is technically your administration's responsibility to buy goggles. Yes, okay, but don't say Sonya Scott said. Just show them the book. Just show them the handout. But yes, it is responsible. Okay. Oh, y'all are so cute. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Okay. Going back to our PowerPoint. A slideshow. All So think back when you were a child. What were you curious about? Someone tell me something. What some things you were
Do you
curious?
mean in science?
Anything about
I
the world,
mean, I
whatever.
always thought about I think about it often now when the kids look at me, and I try to be prepared in the mornings when I go in there, because I know I see teachers that are not prepared, and when it seemed like sometimes you're just thrown into stuff, and I was like, I want to be prepared, and then
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, do they know that I'm not certified? But then after I got in there for a couple of weeks, and we had to send out the letters to the parents to let them know that they're not really certified, but they're working, they have degrees or whatever. So I try to ask them all the time. I said, okay, your parents do know that I'm not a certified teacher, and I am. But they said, one child said, my mom said she would rather you be in your class than any other class, because I never had these experiments. Well, I never had homework and projects, and we didn't have vocabulary words, and we having all this stuff in here, and you keep us busy. I said, okay, that kind of makes me feel good, because I was curious to know, was I doing a good job, or are the kid can somebody tell me that what I'm doing is working for the child? So
Well, yes,
even with the
you
test,
had good feedback from the parents
right,
and the children. Yes,
right.
wonderful, excellent. All right. And I love you all's answers in the chat. Yes, you're curious about everything. That's right. All those why questions. Why this happened? What is that? Yes, you're curious about everything. And falling off a roller coaster, Rachel. Okay. Yep, curious about falling off a roller coaster. Love it. Yes, evolution, the life cycle, literally how everything works. Rocks, the dinosaurs, DNA. Wonder why mom and dads were so different. Everything. Yes, children are naturally curious. When we get older and jaded, we might not be as curious about everything, but children are curious, and we in science need to tap into that curiosity no matter what we are doing. And again, elementary school does better than we do at the secondary with this, but tapping into those. And so another big idea in science is phenomenon. So a phenomenon is simply an observable event.
You didn't drive your truck to school today?
Oh, I'm in the
Hello?
draw.
Miss Scott,
Yes.
they want to know, because on my Studies Weekly, phenomenon is at the bottom of every Studies Weekly, and the phenomenon, and with the question, they want to know why. Why is it
No, I
there?
didn't.
Why is it on all of our Studies
I was there when
Weekly?
I left. I sure didn't see it.
Wait.
Yeah, look,
Okay.
Yeah, they just want
Okay.
to know, why is it on there? I say, because it's an event. It's the moment where you can express yourselves. They want you to know the what, the when, the how, and the why. You ask the question,
Yes,
so.
yes. I mean, yes, because that's what is supposed to drive the science. We want them to be curious. And so student inquiry, all of that, making it relevant. A lot of you all said things that were relevant to to you. And so that's what we want to say. We want to make it relevant to them. And so if we look here, this is a wonderful website. It's called The Wonder of Science. And this is broken down by grade levels, kindergarten all the way up to the different things in high school. And this is a way, and if you go into each of these, it's broken down by standards. And so if you know your next generation standard, or you can look at the topic, They give you some ways on how you can grab the student's attention based on what you are doing. So again, weathering and erosion, you're like, oh, that might not be interesting, but this is a website that will help you find ways to connect that to the students. And so they have different things. Sometimes it's an article, sometimes a little video. And here is just a little video example. Again, if you're doing chemistry, then they're just talking about if you know, intermolecular forces and everything. Oh, you know, that sounds so heavy. But look at this short little video that you can ask the students, well, why did that happen? All right, so we'll just watch that. 14 seconds. All right, so you saw the blue ink float, but what happened to the black? If you notice, the black did not float. And so you want, you know, that could be just something that you see, or you could actually do that in your classroom. And then as you go through the unit, they need to go back and try to explain what they just saw. Again, getting them curious and trying to figure out, oh my goodness, what happened? What's the difference between those two things? Again, it can be simple as that. And so the website is right here. It's called The Wonder of Science. And it's going to be part of your homework. I want you to explore the sites and look at some things there to see if you can use any of that in your classroom, bringing some of that wonder, some of that some of the phenomenon to your classroom. Again, we want to tap into those. Oh yes, that's what I said, Kim. It is a whole. You can go down the rabbit hole. So don't go down the rabbit hole. It's getting late. Don't go down the rabbit hole too much tonight. But yes, you can get caught up in that website. Definitely. All right. And so if you need assistance with your science content or pedagogy, then you know, we've already heard that from Rachel about AMSTI. And so I just want to end a little bit with about my organization, AMSTI, because we are definitely here and would love to help and just be a part. Again, AMSTI is an acronym. It stands for the Alabama Math, Science, and Technology Initiative. So we have the math side and also the technology, but I'm here representing the science. And so it is part of the Department of Education. And its initiative is to prove STEM teaching statewide, including improvements in each individual subjects and integrating STEM subjects together. We believe in expertise. And so we know our content and we want to help you, other teachers, build their content knowledge as well. Again, if you go, even if you've been teaching for a long time, like I said, my background is in chemistry. And when I moved to physics, even though I have been teaching for 18 plus years, I needed an AMSTI specialist to help me remember that physics I had way back when I was in college. And so that's what they are there for. Maintaining high expectations. Oh, goodness. Yep, y'all get the second word because again, it's the end of the day and there's certain words I cannot say at the end of the day, and that is one of them. But we want to maintain high expectations for staff and stakeholders. Empowerment, we want you to be empowered. So we want to train and we want you to be empowered so you can empower your students. So then that will build more STEM abilities in our communities, and that will build up our whole entire state. And then again, we also believe in that engagement. 3-dimensional learning is the engagement. All right, Ms. Trust, shout out to Aaron Casby. Yep, I know Mr. Casby. Oh, he has helped you all week. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Oh, yay. Come on, AMSTI. I see y'all representing. Been in biology classes. Yeah, we can talk in a minute about ordering in just a second. All right, Jacqueline. All right. And so our three big things that we do at AMSTI and ASIM is Alabama Science in Motion, is the high school science portion of that. We provide professional learning. And so I'm going to take you to the website in just a minute, and also our menu of services. But we provide professional learning for you. Whatever you, all these different things that you need, we can help you out with. We talk about kits and different things. We can help you with your professional learning. Instructional materials, that's the materials that we get. When I talk to people from other states, they are amazed by the AMSTI ASTEM program, that teachers are able to get these free resources that they don't have to replenish and refurbish, that they can use the kits and send them back and then get them again next year, is a phenomenal thing. These are instructional materials that you can have at your fingertips. And then ongoing educator support. So even if you come to professional learning and you're like, you're still not comfortable, then you can call your AMSTI specialist and they can schedule in to come see you in the classroom. Just like you see all of these people saying in the chat, they will come and coach you. So if you just need someone to help you improve your pedagogy, and so pedagogy is just your art of teaching. If you need them help with your instructional materials, if you need help even with classroom management, they can come alongside you and help you in your classroom. And so this is what we do. So let me go back to our resource document here. And here is the AMSTI website that we're going to go and look at right now. So here's the AMSTI website. And one of your homework things is to explore this website. We have science here, so all the things about science are there. If you are interested in proficiency scales, we have some things here. You need to come. You'll see on there, if you go to training, they will give you passwords into the teacher portals. But you need to go, see right here where it says AMSTI sites. You need to find where your region is, and you need to locate your AMSTI specialist if you do not know them. So let's go over here to the University of Alabama. You just click on that and they list all the specialists here. And so all of those right here, if you are physics in the University of Alabama's region, you would contact Julie Coven, and her email address is right here. Elementary schools, there's math specialists there. So if you're elementary school in this region, you're going to contact Kathy Colburn and see what you need, just contact her and say, hey, I need some help. What can we schedule to get together? Okay. Yes, I will put it in the, okay, your specialist is Sonya Edwards. And so Sonya, I believe, is at UAB. So you want the link to the AMSTI website? It's also on, remember, all the links that I'm going to is on your resource document. So please make sure y'all keep that resource document, and please make sure that it has a lot of resources on there. So again, you're going to go and locate your site as part of your homework, and to go in here and to find your regional specialist. They can tell you all about upcoming training, how to get your kits next year, everything that you need to know. Now, ASIM, which is the high school science portion, right now has a separate website, and it's also on that page. We will be having we will be consolidating as a new course, the study standards come out, we'll put more of our things on the main AMSTI website. But again, if you know your region, you can click in here. And even if you are not logged in, you can go in and see the names of the lessons and the kits and materials that we offer. So this is high school biology, and you can see it also has some anatomy and anatomy and physiology and environmental here. You can see all of these lessons and labs and things that will help you in your classroom. They are there. They are there. All right. And so go explore them. Also, we want to show you the menu of services. So these are things that are not necessarily, well, some of it's content, but these right here, these are things at the top, AMSTI for All. These are the things that we offer for science training that goes on. So if you want to know more about proficiency scales, you can contact and see when they're offering their proficiency scale training. Elementary engineering and computer science experience. There's solar ovens. And the introduction to argument-driven inquiry. There's the ACAP experience, and then improving the ACAP science scores. There's also an ACT training for teachers and a student ACT experience as well. And so if you look at the menu of services, you will see all the training that we have that is available to you. And then the science foundational training, that is a prerequisite for all of our content training. So please make sure that, again, if you just contact your specialists, they will be able to help you with all of those things. All right. And then the last thing I want to go over, because I know I'm over my time, is a POGL. And so if POGL stands for Process-Oriented Guided Inquiry Learning. If you are new to a subject area, middle school and high school, so this is for you all. If you are new to 6th grade Earth and Space, 7th grade Life Sciences, 8th grade Physical Sciences, physics, chemistry, or biology in high school, and you have forgotten some of your stuff, these POGL resources are really good just for you. Even if you do, they're really meant for you to do with your students, but even if you don't turn them around to your students, it's a great way to deepen your understanding of the content that they need at that grade level. So again, they are very friendly. You're using models to go over things. There are sample activities here, and it's not a worksheet. So I really want you to work through them and figure it out, because you are going to get some deep content knowledge out of these things, because it's not just another worksheet. It actually uses inquiry in the form of what looks like a worksheet, but it is much more deep and much more good thinking that goes along with it. So when I was tasked to do high school biology, again, my background is chemistry and the physical sciences. And when I had to go back and teach about those evolutionary traits and in your ancestries, I said, oh Lord, help me Jesus. So I did. And when I started working through these POGLs, it gave me a lot of background information, made me so much more confident, brought things back to my remembrance, and and things I did not understand. Again, it broke it down so much that I was able to turn it around to the students. And so that website is there, as well as from Flynn Scientific. If you ask around, your schools might have copies of those already. And if you have specific lessons that you want to look at, your AMSTI specialist can also help you with that. All right, so I am back at the end with your homework. So I know it's going to be hard, but I don't want you to take all the time, but I want you to spend at least 15 minutes exploring the Wonder of Science website. That was that website about phenomenon. I want you to just explore that website with your grade levels that you teach. And then I want you to go to the AMSTI website. I want you to look around that website and just see what information you can gather from there. And then I also want you to locate the contact information for your regional specialists. And I challenge you, if you are not in contact with them, not only just locate that contact information, but actually go and reach out to them, send them an email, introduce yourself and say, hey, you know, I'm interested in knowing more about the resources that you can offer, help me with. All right, and so this is from Dr. Shields here. So the next and last, the last session again is on November 29th at 7 p.m. And again, you're taking off Thanksgiving next week, so you all enjoy your Thanksgiving holidays. And are there any questions before we go on to the attendance?
No questions, but I just want to say that I enjoyed you tonight with this new science to me because I feel like I'm lost sometimes, but it's fun because I came from art. So I guess you got to be creative with whatever you do into the science. So I've been enjoying it, but listening to you tonight makes me want to do it even more.
Oh, yeah, as I said, and incorporating that art into it, any way that we can integrate all of those things into, you know, everything into our subjects, just making it more interesting to the kids. Yeah, I just think that would be awesome. So yeah, anytime you can integrate that art into there as well, especially when you all get into the divisions of colors. And I mean, there's a whole lot of ways, and they were just talking about how film was, I just remember an art person at the State Department was telling us just about photography and the perspective when people are drawing, and he was relating that to the physics. It was blowing my mind. So yes, as I said, if you all do integrate all that, just bring in what your background knowledge is, because everyday life is what science is. And if we can integrate all of that, it makes it much more interesting for the kids.
Yes, Miss Scott.
Yes.
This is Wilhelmina. I really, really have enjoyed you. You are so very knowledgeable. You're so very knowledgeable. And boy, have you taught me a lot tonight, just this little time.
Oh, well,
Yes,
good.
and I really enjoyed everything that I've heard you say. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate that, Miss Davis, because you have to. Yes, I appreciate that. We need a little affirmation as well, you know. So I appreciate, yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you all, because I know it's like I said, I know it's hard to be on this late at night, and you've taught all day, and I know you have families and different things. So I do appreciate you all, coming in and sharing what you all shared as well. All right. Well, I am going to
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So here is your attendance. And so I guess you all need to scan the QR code, and then I guess you all know what to do, and you can leave after you finish.
Miss Scott, are you gonna put it in the chat? The
Wait.
the link.
Oh my, wait, you okay. Let me see if I can get the link. Wait. Oh man. Just a moment. This is one they told me to copy and paste into my slide deck. And I can't get the wait. Ooh, let me see if I can get it on my
Are you able to highlight the link right there?
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's not giving me a link thing. Okay, I'm gonna try to pull it up on my phone and see if I can get the link that way.
Oh, one of the guys put it in our email, the link in our email. I don't know how he did it, but he did.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. This is my. They didn't tell me about this. Let me see. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna have to copy it. Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna have to copy it and email it to me. Oh, and it's not short. Okay, but maybe. Okay, let me email it. Give it a second. Okay, nope, stop sharing because I can't get my stuff. And now the authenticator want to go off. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sonya, I dropped the attendance link in the chat.
Thank you, because I mean, I had to authenticate myself, Dennis, and now I'm
Once I heard the word authenticator, I knew I was needed. So
okay. Thank you, because yes.
I did that in Leslie's session as well, because they just give you the code. I know some people are on their phone and can't scan the code or whatever. So I had already copied it for her session, so I just thought I'll throw it in the chat.
Bless you. I was doing good until they said I don't have a code. I was like, yes, I'm trying, people. I'm trying. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.